welcome into this video. I would like us to have a discussion about regarding this new regulation by KRA, where all the income and expenses need to be validated using eTIMS to be compliant, and these have generated a lot of debates, and I need to bring it home what KRA means. So KRA technically means all the incomes which you generate. Maybe this one is affecting so much people in the consulting industries, because sometimes validating the expenses which you incur when offering consulting services is sometimes difficult, and in most cases people are estimating the expense which they could have incurred when offering these services. But now, when filing your 2025 return, KRA requires you to have eTIMS compliant invoices and expenses, so you will not be able to net off expenses unless they are validated using eTIMS for consulting services or other services. This is applied for both individual and non-individual income tax return, so they must be validated using that method from effective 1st January 2026. So this means it will be affecting your filing of tax for 2025. So to bring this concept home and what it means, so this concept technically requires a declaration of income and expenses, which must be supported by a valid electronic tax invoice correctly transmitted with the buyer's PIN, where applicable and subject to exemption provided under Section 23A of Tax Procedure Act, Cap 469B, and Tax Procedure Electronic Tax Invoice Regulation of 2024, where taxpayers are encouraged to request eTIMS schedule of the year, current annual income and expense from the year designated account manager. So, to make these concepts sync on what KRA means, I will take you to the Excel sheets where we usually file our return. So, we take a scenario of somebody with a commission which maybe he has generated an amount of 100,000 or 100,000 or just a million. So, when you have generated this income, you need to substantiate the expense which you incurred to generate this income. So this income, technically, you are required when demanding this income to have a valid invoice which you use to claim this income or to request to be paid this income from the person who was buying services from you or a customer. So when you come here, in most scenario where we have expenses, operating expenses, you are technically estimating the operating expenses which you had incurred. So in this scenario, any expense which you be deducting here, it should be eTIMS compliant, regardless of the expense which you incurred. That could be legal expense, maybe computer expense which you incurred, maybe it is based on depreciation, a computer got damage. Anything which you incurred in this transaction need to be eTIMS compliant, and that is where we are getting into problem. Because I was having a conversation with a person asking that person, maybe in a scenario when we are offering these consulting services, I get into kiosk and I buy a loaf of bread. So when I buy that loaf of bread, which is for my own consumption, or maybe when I'm in the road I buy some mayais and smokies, and it is in the course of offering that service, which is consulting, how will we be able to net off these expenses which are incurred as an individual when offering these consulting services, which I'm getting them from a non-compliant individual, eTIMS individual, like just normal hookers. So that's become a lot of problematic, and that is what entails a lot of expenses which we incur every day, and they are so significant in our business. So I've generated a video showing you how you can be able to technically generate an eTIMS compliant invoice, but you can get back to me so that I can show you what you need to do. So basically, if you have non-eTIMS compliant invoices and you need to approve them and net off this amount of commission which you got when offering your services, there is an interface here which have been added under the T income computation, where you can be able to adjust the amount of manual and eTIMS invoice, which is here, manual and eTIMS expenses. So, and to adjust them, what you need to do, you need to first declare them in the iTax portal. I'll just demonstrate for clarity. So we can get into the iTax portal and show you how you need to declare them if they are non-eTIMS compliant. So let me show you something. So I'll just enter my KRA pin here. So allow me to enter it just manually, since let me enter it manually. Okay, 43007A. Then I'll hit continue. Then I do a simple mathematical computation, which will give me a value of 69. Then continue. So let me re-enter the password again here. Let me re-enter it here. Let me re-enter it again, and again. Let me come here, re-enter it. I did a mistake. So it's 01543A. Then I'll do a simple mathematical computation here, which is 15 minus 14. So a link is 101 if I'm not wrong. Let me write 101. Then I'll hit login. So in order to declare this manual and eTIMS compliant invoice, I come to where we have return. Then come to where we have income return manual invoice. Come here. Then when I come here, I'll choose the period. So the period is 2025. Then I'll hit next. So do you want to adjust? Yes, I want to adjust these expenses. So what you do, you come here, add, download these comma saved values or CSV document here. So I usually like opening these documents with the normal of Microsoft Excel to avoid a lot of problems. So the document is here. So just click above it and open the document with Excel. So let me give it time to open. So it has opened. So in order to claim for these expenses, you need to enter the PIN of your supplier. So that is the supplier who has offered you some services which you need to claim for and reduce your tax liability. You enter the name of the supplier, the invoice number, the invoice date, the description of the supply, and the amount. So these apply even in the consulting services, so that you can be able to net out the amount of expense. I know this here will not be easy to navigate, since any expense which is non-validated, it will be flagged by KRA. And after doing that, after filling all your expenses, you get back into the KRA portal and you shall just choose that file and come and enter it here, and then you put supporting document and submit. After submitting that amount which you have netted off there, you come back into these sheets which are here. Let me show you. You come back to these sheets which are here, and adjust the amount which you have declared as the manual and eTIMS or TIMS expenses. This is now allowed. Maybe it will be of maybe 80 or 90,000, and it will be used to offset your tax burden here. But it will not be easy to do it if you didn't issue non-compliant eTIMS invoices. So this is the method which we are using, and we have to run to be compliant with eTIMS. But this technically is somehow advantageous and disadvantageous at the same time, because it will make it easy when we are claiming for input VAT, since it will not take a lot of problems while we are getting a lot of audit, since all your expenses and all your income will be validated using iTax with real-time synchronization of data. And that is the whole concept which has been introduced by this jargon this jargon which they have introduced is not technically a jargon but a concept regarding income and expenses which need to be declared with KRA. So this will require us to be eTIMS compliant, which I have demonstrated on how you can generate eTIMS compliant invoices using eCitizen in a simple manner. So this is the whole concept which will be applied in this year filing of taxes. So in case you have any question which will need to be answered regarding how we'll be able to navigate using in this system, kindly feel free to reach me using